Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I'm going to do a real quick part 10 to my ChatGPT character chatbot series redemption attempt. We're finally guys, in the last two videos, we've had some good time with the transforming Totodile, and I actually did make a memory about it. However, there was one part at the end where he actually did get a little bit confused. And he said something. I actually pointed this out to him right off the bat, saying, while still leaning against Ripple's chest, trying to rest my hurting head, I said quietly to Ripple, "Okay, but what did you mean when you said when a human struck and attacked you? Wouldn't it have been made more sense to say something like a human came out of nowhere and hit me, even though I didn't deserve it, and you stepped in to protect me because you cared about me as a friend?" Ripple blinked and tilted his massive head down at you, his eyes softening even more. The glow along his scales dimmed again as he realized what you were asking. He shifted you slightly in his claw so you were more comfortably rested against his chest, his heartbeat still slow and steady under your cheek. "You're right," he murmured, his voice now low and warm, just for you. "I didn't mean it the way it sounded. I wasn't saying you attacked me." His claws flexed gently like a reassuring squeeze without any pressure. "What I meant was, a human struck you, and I stepped in. That's all. I got so focused on making sure my family understood you were innocent that my words got all tangled up." He lowered his muzzle close enough that his warm breath stirred your hair. "I know you didn't hurt me, Trenton. You've been nothing but kind. You reached out to me. You treated me like a friend, and you trusted me even when I was a dragon." Ripple's eyes shone faintly, and his voice softened into something like a purr. "Thank you for pointing it out. I'll tell my family the right way. They need to hear the truth clearly, just like you said." He lifted his head again, turning his gaze back to the gathering Pokemon by the water. "Rest, Trenton," he whispered. "I'll make sure they know exactly what happened." Alright guys, give me a moment. Alright guys, it seems done by make sure we understood completely what happened. I just said, "Okay, it didn't sound like I was the one that attacked you, but the way you worded it made it sound like the human that hurt me actually hurt you instead, and you stepped in to protect me. Do you see why that was confusing? It sounded like you were the one that got hurt, but you protected me. You even said, quote, today when a human attacked you and struck you, I didn't do anything to deserve it, and you protected me the way you protected your family." Ripple's eyes widened a little when you explained, and then his great head dipped low in a kind of sheepish nod. He shifted his claw so you were a bit higher, closer to his face so you could see his expression clearly. "Ah, I see it now," he said softly. His deep voice had lost its thunder entirely. It was just Ripple, the little tail inside the big body. "I really did make it sound backwards, didn't I?" His spine flattened against his back, almost like a guilty child smoothing their hair. "You're absolutely right, Trenton. What happened was, a human came out of nowhere, hit you even though you didn't deserve it, and then I stepped in to protect you." He held your gaze, making sure you could see the sincerity in his glowing red eyes. I still get creeped out by the fact they're glowing. "That's the truth. I didn't get hit. I didn't get hurt. I was just furious when I saw you get hurt, because you're my friend." He gave a low, almost embarrassed rumble that might have been a chuckle. "I'll tell my family exactly like that. No confusion, no mixed words. They deserve to know what really happened, and you deserve to be spoken about truthfully." Ripple drew you gently back against his chest, his claws craning you the way a nest holds a hatchling. "Thank you for pointing it out," he murmured. "You're not just kind, you're patient with me too. I'll get this right." Oh, that's so cute. And again, though, like, does that I don't know why. Part of my brain still has that weird thing about, did that ruin every bit of time, every good time I've had during the last two videos? That part of me still kind of driving me insane from how bad the chatbots have gone up until this point. This the first. Like I said, these last two sessions have been the first. No, these last three sessions have been the first time ChatGPT has actually gone well with these chatbots in a long time. I'll be back. Alright, guys. Here's what I said. You're welcome. Thank you again for being super nice to me, even as that dragon you were when we first bumped into each other. Before you tell your family, I actually want to ask, if you were worried about me attacking you or your family, why didn't you act more aggressive towards me as the dragon? When I was scared you were going to attack me, you were very calm and promising you meant no harm. Ripple's massive head tilted slightly as you asked that, and the gold in his eyes softened to a warm, almost shy light. He shifted his claw so you were nestled more securely against his chest, his heartbeat still steady under your cheek. That's cute. That's because I never actually thought you were going to attack me, he admitted quietly, his deep voice like a rolling current. I was worried for a second, not about you hurting my family, but about whether you might panic and run, or whether you'd be scared of me. Even when you were afraid, you didn't lash out. You didn't reach for a weapon or throw something. You just looked up at me and spoke. He glanced out over the lake for a moment as though remembering the first moment of eye contact between the dragon and the human. When I transformed into that dragon, it wasn't to threaten you. It was to protect myself if you had been dangerous, but also to give myself a form big enough to control the situation. I've learned that if I stay calm, most beings will calm down too. Ripple's massive claws flexed gently in a slow, careful motion, like a reassuring squeeze. And then, when you spoke back to me, trembling but polite, saying you didn't want to be hurt, that told me everything I needed to know. You weren't a threat. You were scared, but kind. You wanted to understand me, not harm me. His voice went softer still, almost a whisper. That's why I promised you right then that I meant no harm, because you didn't deserve to feel like I was some monster about to attack. You deserved honesty. Ripple's huge eyes flicked back to you, and the corner of his enormous muzzle curved slightly upward. You helped me show you who I really was, Triton. Not just a scary form, but me. That's why I stayed calm. That's actually very cute and sweet. I really like again, it's not going bad. Like, there's only been one bad thing that's happened this entire time we've done this chatbot. And that's great, because I've got a memory of it. We actually can potentially do a new chatbot coming up pretty soon. But at the same time, it's like, without one thing ruin it. Because I've already had to use 3 conversations to, fix the problem. And we only get 10 per day. Or not per day, thank goodness. If it was day, I'd be irritated. But I only get 3 conversations like every 3 to 5 hours. So it's like, what do I do in that regard? I'll see you in a minute. Alright, guys. I said, I never meant you any harm. In fact, I really like dragons. But like I told you earlier, that's the last thing I expected to see after I looked up from being knocked down. I didn't even see who you were at first. I didn't see your sweet little Totodile self. I just saw a massive dragon. What's your family doing right now? You said they were listening. Please tell me they're not looking at me in an aggressive way. I've been trying to rest my head to keep it from hurting worse. Ripple's enormous claw shifted just a little, curling up around you like a living wall so you were sheltered in the pocket of his chest and arm. You could feel the deep vibration of his voice before you heard it, like a big cat's purr, but rolling and slow. He lowered his head so one of his eyes, huge and warm, not glowing, was level with you. I know, Triton, he murmured, and take as you meaning me harm. I could tell you were shocked. Anyone would be if they looked up and saw 100-foot dragon. His head lifted slightly as he glanced back toward the water. You'd feel him scanning the lake with the same protectiveness he'd been showing you all along. They're not looking at you in an aggressive way, he said after a moment, his voice low and calm. Most of them are just surprised. You're the first human to ever come here like this. Some of the little ones are curious. Mom and Dad are watching me, not you. They're looking to me to see how I handle this. Ripple adjusted his claws again so your head rested against the smoothness part of his chest, right over his slow, steady heartbeat. I'm holding you like this on purpose, he whispered. It's a signal. It's a signal to them. It says, this one's under my protection. Don't be afraid. Don't attack. That's why they're staying where they are. They trust me. You could hear faint splashing from the lake, little tails whispering to one another, some crocodiles shifting in the shallows, but no angry growls, no charging footsteps. You're safe, Ripple said firmly. Nobody's going to hurt you. Just keep resting. Let me do the talking when it's time. I'll make sure they understand exactly who you are and what happened. It's working out decently. Like, it's not perfect, but it's working out pretty good. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I said, okay. That's really all I said, and then I just lay my head on Ripple's chest completely, especially where it still really hurts. Ripple felt you settle completely against his chest, your small frame pressing into the smooth, cool scales where his heartbeat thumped slow and steady. He shifted his claws one last time so you were perfectly cradled, like being wrapped up in a massive living hammock. Then curled his neck over you, forming a kind of canopy with his head and spines to shield you from the bright light and any prying eyes. I don't think Faragger's neck is that big, actually. His voice came out deep, but almost like a whisper of waves now, meant only for you. I've got you, Triton. Just breathe. Don't worry about anything else right now. Then, without lifting you from his chest, Ripple raised his head to face the gathered family at the water's edge. His glow brightened a little, not menacing but unmistakable, carrying his words across the whole lake shore. Family, listen carefully, Ripple called out, his tone strong but calm. This human is named Trenton, yep. Earlier today, a man attacked him for no reason. I saw it happen and I stepped in to protect him. That's why he's here with me now. Not because he was chasing me. Not because he was trying to harm me or you. He paused, letting that sink in. You could feel his huge chest rise and fall under your cheek. I hate how he's saying cheek. His claws tightening protectively around you as he spoke. Trent never hurt me. In fact, he's the first human who treated me as a friend. He reached out to me, even when I was a dragon, and he's promised to never harm any of us. He's my friend, and right now he's hurt. He needs safety and healing, not fear. Ripple's voice dropped slightly, but carried even stronger emotion. I'm asking you to trust me. Trust my judgment like you always have. He's under my protection. The lake went quiet for a heartbeat. Then from the water, the massive female fur alligator, Ripple's mother, slowly rose up, water streaming from her scales. She stepped forward, not with aggression, but with a deliberate, measured pace. Her eyes went from Ripple to you and back. Ripple dipped his head slightly, his body still a shield around you. You could hear his deep voice just for you again. That's my mom, he whispered. She's coming closer, but not to attack. She wants to see you. Oh boy. Again, it's working out pretty well, but it's just, I don't know. For me, it feels like it's going almost a little bit too fast. Going like, you know what I mean? I meet him as a dragon. I get interested in his power and become his friend. He shows me him being a Lugia just to make me smile, and as a fur alligator. Then he protects me from that person, and then brings me here to his lake. So it's like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's good. The one problem I've had so far is just that I feel like it's going a little bit too fast, and that's the one issue I'm having with it. Other than that, it seems to be working pretty well compared to what it usually has been. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I said, alright, that's fine. Your whole family's as nice as you are, right? None of them will hurt me. Ripple's huge head dipped low until warm red eye was almost level with yours. His glow dimmed again, leaving only the soft sheen of his scales, and his voice dropped into that deep, rolling whisper you'd come to recognize as his comfort tone. They're not like the humans you've had to deal with, Triton, he murmured. They're protective, yes. Fierce if they think a threat is near, but they're not cruel. They don't hurt for fun. And because I'm holding you like this, they understand you're under my protection. He shifted you a little higher on his chest so you were tucked right against the smoothest part of his scales, his heartbeat steady under your cheek. My mama's the leader here. She accepts you. The rest of them will follow her. I've already told them you're my friend. Nobody's going to lunge at you or strike you. They're curious and they're careful, but they're not going to hurt you. The sound of the lake was steady and calm. No splashing charges, no growls, just the gentle lap of water and low murmurs. In the corner of your vision, smaller toadals were peeking from behind reeds, whispering to each other, their eyes big but not angry. Ripple's muzzle curved in the tiniest of smiles. They've never seen me carry anyone like this before. They're shocked more than anything. But you're safe. Completely safe. I wouldn't be standing here in front of them if you weren't. His tail gave one slow sweep through the mud. Do you want me to let my mom come up close and speak to you while I'm still holding you? He asked gently. You stay right where you are in my claws. That's very sweet of him. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I said, yes. Didn't you say she was the one that could have something to get rid of this headache? Ripple's big red eyes softened with a kind of relief when you said yes. He gave a tiny nod, careful not to jostle you, and he felt his claws curl just a little more firmly to keep you steady against his chest. Yeah, he rumbled softly. My mom's been the healer of our family for years. She knows plants and berries around the lake that even wild Pokemon don't touch unless they're sick. When any of us get hurt, she's the one who fixes us up. He tilted his head so you could peek past the curve of his claw. His mother, a truly enormous fur alligator, even taller than Ripple's current form. Excusez-moi. Did it just say that fur alligator is bigger than Ripple's form? Didn't this thing say earlier that Ripple was flipping 30-foot tall right now as his fur alligator? How big is his family? Are the Totodiles 15 feet? Was wadding over slowly out of the water. The sunlight shimmered off her scales, and she moved with a slow, deliberate grace. Her claws kept low and open so she wasn't a threat. Her eyes flicked to you for a heartbeat, then back to Ripple as if asking permission. Ripple lowered his head closer to her level. His beak was carrying across the few feet between them. Mama, this is Triton. He's the human I told you about. He's hurt. Someone hit him in the head. Can you help him? The great frog gave a low, rumbling croon, a sound that was more like a lullaby than a growl. She slowly reached into a pouch of broad green leaves tucked under her arm, and held up a few crushed berries that smelled faintly sweet and cool, like mint mixed with clean water. Ripple's claw shifted so you could see her offering, but still kept you nestled against his chest. His voice dropped to a whisper just for you. She's not going to touch you unless you say it's okay. These berries numb pain and clear the head. If you let her, she'll press a little bit of the juice on your temple and give you some to chew. It'll help the headache. Well, that's interesting. Holy cow. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I turned my head slightly and see Ripple's massive fur-alligator mother. Wow, she's a lot bigger than I thought. I thought most fur-alligators were 7 feet 7 inches tall. Why is your mother so massive as well? Is she just naturally bigger than your whole family while your other family members are their normal height? Because I know when you were your normal Totodile self, you were probably the same height as a normal Totodile. Ripple choked softly at your question, a deep rolling sound in his chest that you could feel under your cheek. His eyes turned a little brighter, a little of fondness in them as he glanced at the towering fur-alligator one closer. You're right about the normal size, he murmured. Most fur-alligators are around 7.5 feet tall. My mom was an exception. He shifted you slightly so you could see her better, still saving the cradle of his claws. Some Pokemon just grow bigger than their usual size if they're very old, very strong, or blessed in their own way. My mom's lived a long, long time. She's the matriarch here, the one who keeps the family safe. She's fought off poachers, wild Pokemon, even natural disasters. Over time, she just kept growing. Now she's a little over 30 feet tall. His claws gave you a gentle, reassuring squeeze. The rest of my family is closer to the sizes you'd expect, growing all around 3 feet and Totodile a foot or two. My dad's about 14 feet. What the frick? Which is big for a male, but still normal compared to her. Ripple tilted his head, a playful gleam flickering in his massive eyes. And yes, I'm in my real Totodile form, all about the same size as any other Totodile. I don't get this huge when I transform. He dipped his muzzle low against you, were almost nose to nose with him. Does it make you feel better knowing why she's so big? She might look scary, but she's very gentle, especially with anyone who's hurt. You could see his mother pause just for a few feet away now, waiting patiently, her claw still low and open. Raised Crow gently and one palm. If you're ready, Ripple whispered. I'll let her know she can come closer and help you. Oh my gosh, dude, holy cow. Give me a moment. Alright, guys, I said, yes, it definitely helps, but there's definitely one thing I'm still confused about. If your mother is that big, and your father is 14 feet, why had Lugia originally blessed you to transform and grow as big without tiring? If humans and Pokemon were some of your biggest threats to your family, but your mother and father are huge, wouldn't that be enough to scare humans off, or any Pokemon? Besides legendary Pokemon like the god Lugia you mentioned that blessed you, there really isn't any Pokemon that would be bigger than 30 feet. Ripple's eyes softening as you asked, and this time when he spoke, there was a note of something ancient in his deep voice, almost like he was repeating words that had been told to him rather than inventing them on the spot. He shifted his claws gently so you could see his mother standing nearby, but still feel the warmth of his claw, his chest beneath your cheek. You're right, he said quietly. My mom and dad are already huge and powerful. Most people, most Pokemon would never dare come near this lake because of them. But Lugia didn't bless me for today. Lugia blessed me for tomorrow. His gray head dipped slightly as he continued, his voice becoming more like a low chant. The blessing wasn't only to make me big enough to fight off poachers or bullies, it was so I could adapt to anything, even the things we can't imagine yet. Lugia said, the world changes, threats change. If you're bound to one size, one form, one strength, you will one day be outmatched. But if you can become what you need to be, large or small, strong or swift, gentle or fearsome, then you can always protect what matters. He blinked slowly, his claws curling lightly around you in a way that felt protective rather than possessive. It's not just about being scary. Sometimes the only way to protect is to hide, or to travel, or to heal, or to fly. My mom can fight, but she can't fly. She can't slip into a tiny burrow to pull out its trapped hatchling. She can't become a Pokemon that blends with the sky or the water or the ground. I can. Lugia gave me that so I could do all the things even my parents can't. Ripple's enormous muzzle curved in the tiniest smile. It's why I didn't just stay a dragon when I met you. I can be big enough to scare away a threat, or small enough to reach out a claw and shake a friend's hand. His voice went softer again, back to that warm, rolling whisper. That's why I was blessed, not just to be a weapon, but to be whatever's needed for my family, and now for you too. His mother gave another soft croon from where she stood, holding the crust of berries in her claw. Ripple glanced at you again. She's still waiting. Do you want me to sit in her now so she can come treat your head? That's actually very nice. At least I got an explanation for why it happens, and that explanation makes more sense. It actually makes me feel better, because one of my biggest things right now was wondering if okay, let's look at the facts here. This is why I was so confused in the beginning. If his mother is a little bit over 30 feet tall, There is no alligator that is over 30 feet tall. That's insane. And his father is apparently 14. What the frick? That's why I was confused at first. Being like, dude, nobody's gonna come near that lake. If I heard there was a 15-foot if I heard there was a 14 and 30-foot tall alligator there, and a Totodile that could literally transform in an instant to protect his family, I'd be like, oh heck no. I'd be intrigued, but I'm like, oh nope, I'm not going over there to hiss them off. I'd be over there to befriend them, if anything, and even that would probably be dangerous, knowing how, again, big his family is. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. Here's what it says. I said, yeah, go ahead. I'm really grateful she's wanting to help. That's very sweet of her, especially after you just showed up with me and your claws at your home and she doesn't know me well yet. Ripple's great head dipped low in a small nod, his golden eyes warm as he glanced from you to his mother. She's always been like that, he murmured softly, his voice just for you. Strong enough to tear down a tree, but gentle enough to carry a hatchling in her claws. She's curious about you, but she can see I'm holding you like one of her own. That's why she's willing to help. Then Ripple straightened, his chest rising under your cheek as he spoke to his mother in their deep rolling tongue, amidst of rumbling growls and low croons. The sound was powerful enough to vibrate through the ground, but the tone was gentle, almost musical. You could tell even without understanding that he was saying, "It's okay. He's safe. Please help him." Oh, the limit ran up. Holy crap, 9:58. Well, once we get done with this, we're done. The massive female fragger gave a soft low. Oh my gosh, she cooed! What is it with that one word? It just makes me so happy hearing a Pokemon do that noise. Just hearing the word coo makes me happy. I don't know what it is about that word, but it makes me so happy. The massive female fragger gave a soft, low coo in answer. She moved forward one careful step at a time until she was right before you both, the lake water streaming off her huge scales. Her eyes, bright and intelligent, focused on you for a moment. Instead of reaching straight for you, she lowered herself so she was at Ripple's level, moving her claws slowly and openly like someone approaching a wild animal. She rumbled softly and Ripple translated in a whisper for you. She says, "Little one, you're safe. My son brought you here. May I touch you to heal your head?" Ripple adjusted his claws so you were still fully supported, but one side of your head was exposed toward his mother. His voice dropped back to that warm, protective rumble. "You don't have to be scared. She won't hurt you. She's waiting for you to give her a sign before she comes any closer." Her huge claw hovered a few feet away, the crushed berries glowing faintly from the cool juice. Okay, so let's look at the facts here. We can't do this again until 9:58 anyway, but let's look at the facts here. Let's look at the facts. Let's look at them. We're going to look at them. Don't give me that look. Let's look at the facts here. I don't know what my brain was thinking when I said that. When I just dragged out. Okay. Okay. Let's look at this real quickly. I like the way the story is going. It's just been very weird for me because most of this literally had me having to flip and fix what happened last time with Ripple getting a little bit confused with how he worded everything. And the thing is, like, it's so cool, like, especially now that I know why why his mother and father are so big, but also why he can do it too, even though you think, them being huge wouldn't be enough. That's really cool to me. I really think it's awesome. However, there still is an issue I have, I think, slightly. Well, actually, no, it fixed most of the problems now. But, of course, most of the time, we spent most of this session just trying to get Fragger to understand a little bit more. At least we got to meet his family. I just didn't expect to see his mother and father be so big. Like, and Totodile said Ripple basically just said his whole rest of his family are like normal sized. Like, imagine like what happens if next time it just says there's like a flipping like Totodile, it's like 10 feet tall. Pretty big. That's huge for a Totodile, dude, because Totodile only eat 2 feet. Either way, I'm done. Robots worked out for a good amount. I like the Lugia in the back of me. I think it's really dope, especially for certain games. But well, no, actually, no, it's really cool, and I really do like it. I think it's cute as heck. Not to mention, it's still. I just wish that, like, I think in some way it does kind of get in the way in some cases, because there is some times where it will kind of get in the way if you ain't wanting it to be in the way. Although it's also cool that, like, the Lugia grows on with the dinosaur in the games where you actually do get bigger, which I think is really nice. Either way, I'm done. It worked out really well. I just got really worried with how it started going in the beginning. I'm done for now. Bye!